Hey friends and subscribers, it's Nathaniel, aka the Epic Atheist, and I have a good treat, or a pretty good treat for you today. It's a real debate between me and I think a Christian. Um, I've written it down. I've debated many people, so here are just a few arguments between me and who I'll refer to as Anonymous. You can read the entire argument for yourself on my video, Does God Exist? But because YouTube has such mediocre uh, features at organizing comments, I have picked just a few of the better arguments from the debater, who I'll refer to as Anonymous. I think I've already covered that. However, better is not saying much because it isn't too great. But I hate wasting all my time making these comments and answers, so I turned this into a video. So what am I going to say now? Okay, before I begin, I just want to say first that we had a civil debate. He may not have presented much strong attacks, but he never lost his cool, so I applauded him for that. I'm also currently debating a friend who is Islamic, and I'll post our debate, which is far deeper, some other time. The topic was, does God exist? And I've copied and pasted some of the comments that I've been able to match up because YouTube mixed everything up. So some of them may seem out of the blue, but just bear with me. For this quote, he says, I was asked a direct question. I gave a direct, though perhaps incomplete answer. Your point about circular reasoning is a very good one. However, perhaps you are confusing what I am writing with what others that you have spoken to in the past on this particular subject have said to you, because I do not believe in God merely because of the Bible. If the Bible did not exist, there would still be God, just like 2 and 2 equals 4. This is an abstract concept. I responded, does the fact that the flying spaghetti Bible does not exist make the flying spaghetti monster any more real? Your entire belief of God is based on the Bible. That is where the church picks and chooses all arguments. You just happen to be brought up as a Christian. If you were raised to believe in Allah, you would be Islamic, and so on. You can say that without the Bible, God would not be any less real. But those who worship Allah could say, if the Quran did not exist, that would not make Allah any less real. Every religion could say that. Okay, for a different quote, he says, as far as proof that God exists, what is your proof that God does not exist? The classical question. You have none, nor can you, no matter how hard you try, because the multiverse is much too big a place for your resources, much too limited to be able to prove that God does not exist. If you agree that there is a multiverse, and I do, I see both point of views of a single universe and a multiverse, then there is a possibility of the existence of a creative intelligence for it. If there is a creation, does it not allow there to be a creator? I responded, where is your proof that a flying spaghetti monster does not exist? I repeat for the millionth time, to disprove something that does not exist is called an unfalsifiable statement, meaning it can never be disproved if it never existed in the first place. Can you disprove Vishnu, Wotan, Zeus? I don't think so, so why do you think I should disprove Yahweh? If you can't do it, why should I? And here's a different quote he has. What I wrote was to illustrate that a philosophy can have empirical, though he spelled it wrong, evidence that it in fact does work. That is, you can go to a hospital, to the place that deals with venereal diseases, and ask the question, did the people the parentheses VD patients, adhere to Christ's philosophy or not? What were the consequences? Clearly, if you did that, maybe volunteered at a hospital, you will see that over and over again, Jesus was giving very happy counsel, and the people that went against it are not very happy. And I responded, oh please, don't tell me you still believe these diseases are the work of a god. And promiscuous sex, those are not at all evidence because they can just as well justify the existence of a 30-ton ant god, Zeus, Apollo, Aphrodite, Thor, Wotan, and anything else unfalsifiable. Unfalsifiable meaning doesn't exist. Even Santa could cause a disease. Diseases have been proven to be either caused by gene disorders or and microorganism infestations. So I'll repeat, where is your evidence? Okay, my throat's getting sore. Third quote, he says, okay, Christ most certainly did have a philosophy. Read the Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes, and so forth. As part of that philosophy, he was against certain things. He was against adultery. He was against murder. He was against name-calling, and so forth. So there is nothing superstitious in believing that promiscuous sex will lead to VD. Science has proven it and verified it. So therefore I reiterate, does not this prove the philosophy of Jesus Christ correct as much as possible? In the case of Christianity, we can take a look at what Jesus instructed his followers to do, and what happens to those who do not do what Jesus said to do. For example, Jesus said to be chaste and not promiscuous. We take a look around and see that those who do not follow that wise instruction and are chronically promiscuous get many venereal diseases, and give others many venereal diseases as well. They are not happy. Everything that Jesus said was like this and can be observed to be true. I responded with a simple statement. Does Obama's philosophy on sex make him a god? I don't think so. So why should Jesus be an exception? Okay, this one. He says, you wrote that religion has no empirical evidence, or words to that effect. I just showed you that in fact there is evidence, observable evidence. People that have promiscuous sex get venereal diseases. Simple as that. So the words coming from religion are sometimes true, so therefore everything about religion cannot be automatically dismissed. Every religious philosophy no doubt has some value, or the Darwinian principle would eliminate. Say, when you were a child, your parents told you a little man drops, or I said, I would have to repeat it then. I said, say, when you were a child, your parent told you a little man dropped soda cans down from the vending machine every time you buy a soda, and you believed her. To say promiscuous sex and disease is evidence for God, even when we already know what the real causes are, is to say that you still believe in this little man in the vending machine, even after knowing that soda cans are actually dropped by a compilation of machinery. Now my throat's really starting to hurt. He says, as far as the Bible not having any evidence to support that there is anything at all in it that ever happened even remotely as described in the Bible, now that it is a bold statement indeed. Furthermore, you do realize that when Isaac Newton made his scientific discoveries, he was trying to determine the time of the second coming of Jesus Christ using the Temple of Solomon as his guide. Before him, Descartes saw an angel that described coordinates. This is what science stems from. I'll repeat, I'll repeat, if you claim evidence, show me it. Your answer is incomplete. If Descartes dreamed, which you claim he saw an angel, and told him coordinates, that implies a place which you've never mentioned. What's coordinates? Science stems from what? You didn't mention. And here's a different quote. Continuing on to that, he answers a few of his emptiness questions or messed up stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I gotta catch my breath here. Descartes is the one who explained the Cartesian coordinate system. Notice the spelling of Descartes and Cartesian. That is a clue that I'm right. It is based on this that Isaac Newton discovered calculus. This is used all the time in science and engineering. Both of these men could only be described as extremely religious. The TV that you are watching was invented based on a dream by Mormon farm boy named Philo Farnsworth. Science and religion mutually exclusive? And I responded, even if he did discover in a dream, that is not evidence for God's existence. If you claim that it is evidence, explain how you know it is your God and your God only. In a controlled dream test, 90% of the human brain is active while we dream. Therefore, it is only logical for people to make great discoveries while they dream. And from this single modern brain analyzation, it undermines that dreams are pathways to communicate with the God. And if you hear that humming, that's the air conditioning it just turned on. So, next thing I said, and after all that above, which is probably 1/5 of our total discussion, it clearly shows he has learned nothing. And that's justified when he says, so you admit there might be a God? Because he gave the thing that, he gave the comment that tried to disprove God, and I can't do that. So he said this now. So you admit there might be a God. Thank you. Now you are halfway there. You realize that you cannot disprove God's existence. So to assert that God does not exist is simply a statement of an untruth. You do not know 100% that God does not exist, nor do you or anyone else have the ability to disprove that, no matter how smart they think they are, nor how many degrees, and so forth. The word atheism is therefore a self-contradictory word. Hey, what about faith? That's the self-contradictory word here. No such logic is rational. And then in my final comments for this video, I said, let me make things clear for you, so maybe you'll understand what an atheist believes. No atheist believes that there is no God, just that the existence of God is just as likely as a teapot orbiting Jupiter. And that's Richard Dawkins' analogy. And this is about 1/5 of our total debates. So, thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Bye.